hung through and just punched it in the net with nobody left in there. So a great play by LMP there, leaving that for Markey.
Yeah, very, very smart play. Just coming in, throwing the defense off, making them bite on a move, and it paid off. So this 2-goal lead really could cement this win for FlipSid. So that is exactly what they needed here to tie this series up.
And yeah, FlipSid, after dropping that first game, they're looking very strong in this second one. And Swarm is playing with their backs to the wall here.
They are, and they are probably going to drop this game, but you know, I still don't think that they're certainly not playing poorly. This whole game has been a series of each team taking advantage of the other team's mistakes. And I know that that's kind of like, duh, of course, but sometimes it's just one team outclasses the other, and I don't think we're seeing that here.
Yeah, it's just who's making the less amount of mistakes. Both in terms of skill, both teams are up there, you know, very competitive, especially with their composition. Yep. And it's just whoever, which group of players is making less mistakes is going to be coming out on top.
Yeah, and I would be very interested to see where that's why I'm glad I'm watching this. Every time I watch FlipSid versus Swarm, you're guaranteed good Rocket League, like awesome Rocket League action. And you know, even though Mike Rules isn't here, and you know, that is kind of sad because Mike is actually a buddy of mine, so it's too bad that he couldn't. He's decided to kind of take a little bit of a hiatus. But still, FlipSid is looking really good, and jeez, and apparently DeBoer decided to make things a little interesting there by nearly scoring on his own goal. But
so good block from Cooks here there. But yeah, it's unfortunate that Mike is having to take a break. But you know, you've got to have priorities, and right now Rocket League, you know, if he's just interested in playing it for fun, well then he can just do that, and you can hang out in his stream when he's doing that. But you know, just got to focus on one thing at a time sometimes. And Mike is deciding to take a little break from Rocket League. You got to respect that though, being one of the best in the game and still having that. Wow, and a great shot by DeBoer there.
Wow. Yeah, that should have just kind of not really happened. DeBoer puts that up there, and just nobody could get in front of it in time. So good shot on net, and big break for FlipSid. Or sorry, for Swarm. Excuse me. Speaking of breaking for FlipSid, down goes the LMP.
Yeah. But as far as Mike, you know, being able to have the ability to even be the best and then put it down to focus on school or whatever it may be, you know, it's got to be difficult. So you got to commend him for sticking to that.
Yeah, and a lot of it, you know, a lot of this comes down to the current status of the esports scene. You know, it's still very young, and unlike other esports, we don't exactly have $1 million tournaments or salaried teams or things like that, which can make it a little easier to convince yourself, hey, maybe I should just play this game full-time as my job. We don't have that yet. So for now, some players, you know, it's easy to get burnt out when you're dedicating time to other important things and then have to carve out so much time for Rocket League.
Yeah, absolutely.
I could see Mike coming back at some point.
Yeah, if the right situation comes out or the right circumstances, maybe sponsorships coming into the game or some big LAN tournaments, maybe he'll take his hat off the rack to go and participate in those. You never know.
And he's so sorely missed. He's got a large fan base full of wonderful people, and I have him to thank for making me an emote on Twitch, so I got that going for me. But
you can check that off the bucket list there.
Yeah, I mean, in any event, I mean, both teams right now, just to kind of get back on the subject matter at hand, it's been just kind of a fairly good back and forth. A lot of the exchanges are really happening in midfield and in the corners. Not a lot of huge chances being put on net quite yet. There's some decent things developing, but the finishes aren't quite there.
Good play from Stocky there, putting that ball on net from the wall. Yeah, there are chances developing. FlipSid, though, needs to make something happen in the next 2 minutes if they wish to take this game 3.
Yeah, but that is lots of time for one goal. And FlipSid, I will say, they are kings of clutch. You know, you go to any final 30 seconds of a FlipSid game where it's tied or they're behind, and like they just crank the fire up, and you will see so many shots on net. So they're one of those few teams that I can't quite rule out until the game is done. Oh, but speaking of which, here comes DeBoer. Nice finish. They could not clear it out. Ball was just kind of floated in front of the net. A very nice demo too, so I'm sure that helped a lot. But good play.
Great job dunking that in. Yeah, so this is going to be tough for FlipSid, struggling all game to get something in net, and now they are 2 goals down with only 1:45 left.
Yep, and that could be very big for them. You know, if FlipSid can at least close the gap slightly before the final minute, that might be enough. You know, yeah, FlipSid can really turn on the heat in the final 30 seconds, but that's usually to score a goal, not to try and come back from a 2-goal deficit. So, I don't know, and Swarm's looking phenomenal right now, so.
Yeah, you can see them all in their great triangle. Stocky trying to get out, looking for the response by FlipSid so that he can clear it. But a great pass from Markey, and ELMP goes up to shoot that in. What a great play from FlipSid.
I mean, that was a beautiful looking goal. You look at Markey, he knows what he's setting up. You can see ELMP coming in for the finish. I didn't think that was going to go in. I thought that there was enough players from Swarm back to stop it, but they were just a little out of position, either too deep in the goal or just not able to get behind it in time, and that was enough for FlipSid to start closing this gap, and that's what I was talking about.
Yep,
now that they got that, things are much more interesting.
Yeah, they just need one. Oh, but somebody's got to get back. Is Markey going to make it in time? He does to prevent that goal. 50 seconds left for FlipSid to come back from this. We'll see if they can clutch it. You said they do have that clutch ability. You can see a great pass from Cooks here, but Markey not able to get there first.
I have certainly seen it before many, many times out of FlipSid tactics. We're in the final 30 seconds now, and this is where the heat turns on. So if you see a goal from FlipSid in these final 30 seconds, just remember, I told you so.
Don't be surprised. Well, it's looking like Swarm is doing pretty good, although Markey does have a dribble opportunity here, but Pashy completely denies that.
Yeah, that would have been really good if ELMP could have gotten just there. But you can see, look at the amount of shots going on. Swarm has had to play such tough defense. And the time is not up yet. 0-second time is still enough. Oh,
the ball's rolling.
Oh, they do manage to deflect it down to the pitch, so didn't quite happen for FlipSid there. So Swarm gets that 2-game lead here in this series. One more, and FlipSid's going down to the lower bracket.
Yeah, and that's where they were last week, having to fight through from the losers bracket. Ultimately, they ended up facing Complain in the grand finals, but they would have to face Complain in the losers bracket finals this time if they drop this game.
Yeah, so a little bit of a rematch could certainly happen from last week, but it all comes down to how well both these teams do going forward from here.
Yeah, we're going to go on board with Markey Duda from FlipSid Tactics, rocking the new car from the latest download, or the latest DLC, the Scarab. We talked about it a little bit last week, but a lot of people think it's a very hideous vehicle.
I don't know. I like the Scarab. I think the Scarab is a fantastic little car. And that was a near goal there, but does hit the post. Yeah, I don't know. I like the Scarab. It's kind of in that same category as Gizmo. You love it or you hate it.
Yeah, absolutely. And a lot of people hate it. But one nice thing about it, though, as we saw from the last, one of the goals last game, something about the car makes it really easy to just fling the ball up really high. Mm-hmm. I don't know what it is, but that actually helped Markey out when he was able to fling the ball up high for ELMP to come in and dunk it in.
Right.
So it does have some utilitarian purposes, even though it is a little ugly, some would say.
For sure, and there's all those little benefits to certain vehicles in the game. You know, very small changes. Up there, Kooks here. You were waiting for the wall goal, and I think we just got it there. Stocky tries to set it up. It does go high to the wall, and there's Kooks.
What a great shot.
Wall. Perfect. I mean, that was... I have never seen a goal quite as dead center as that one was. That's precision aiming, I tell you. And
nobody was in net there. If somebody had been in net, it would have been an easy block, but they were not expecting a shot on net by Cooks here. So fortunately, Oh, wow. ELMP just destroys that ball into the net.
Lamp is turned on. Look at that, right out of the corner. Beautiful setup, and ELMP with another big aerial goal. I mean, that's been his forte right now. He's been picking up some big goals that way.
So we're going to go on board with Pesci here as Swarm is down 2-0. They're going to need something to happen, and Pesci is one player that can make that happen. Very high-rated player in 1v1s as well as 2v2s. No stranger to this. Oh, and ELMP yet again. Looks like we'll go on board with ELMP to see all these goals he's scoring.
Lamp is burning bright, and another great pickup off of that attempted clear. Just puts it in the net. I mean, that's just stellar performance right now. So, you know, I will say, I talked a lot about how FlipSid is very much a clutch team. Swarm, not so much. They're the kind of team that will perform really well throughout a game and win it throughout the game. You know, that's what I've seen in my experience. They typically win a game through the course of that 5 minutes. Mm-hmm. If you get down to the final minute or so, it's probably a done deal by then. That's at least what I've noticed. That's certainly not to say that they're not capable of it. But in my experience, they typically will win it now. You know?
Yeah, they'll. It's a gradual kind of thing as opposed to the burst of scoring that we've seen by some of the other teams.
Exactly. Yeah. So I'm not going to rule Swarm out yet. But I will say if they don't start getting some momentum going, probably by these last couple minutes, it might be FlipSid's game. It might very well be.
Yeah, it's looking like it. As ELMP coming up huge this game for his team, so proving to be a really great replacement for Mike, and Cooks here just puts in the 4th goal here.
This was a very nicely played goal. You can see Cooks here, usually he's up in the air, but he plays this nicely off the ground. A little bit of a floater there. It's enough to prevent anybody from getting to it. So smart play, and FlipSid pretty much well in control of this game. Swarm just cannot get it together, but just as I say that, here comes DeBoer.
DeBoer just had an easy shot there as players from FlipSid missed. DeBoer just comes in and cleans it up, just has to put it on net, which he does. And he gets one back here. Still 2 minutes left, so if Swarm can get another goal really quickly, it's not over. But ELMP decides to put the nail in the coffin there, scoring the 5th goal for FlipSid.
Nice little play right off the kickoff there. ELMP comes in. That's actually a very nice touch because he saw, you know, I think that was Stocky who was coming in to try and knock it away. So he floats it up just a little bit, and it's just enough. ELMP again. Can somebody turn this guy off?
No, it doesn't look like it. Looks like he is going to continue to burn and score a ton of goals for FlipSid. And Markey here trying to do a dribble pass out into the mid. Not able to do so. But ELMP having a great game. But DeBoer puts that one in.
Nice. That was probably more of a big mistake on FlipSid's part. They just could not get this clear. They missed both contact there by Markey and ELMP. And DeBoer just was in the right place, right time, got the good shot, sent it in. So the gap closes a little bit. Don't know if it's enough, but we're not done yet. And so far, I mean, Swarm looks like they're starting to apply more pressure here. And that could be all it takes.
Yeah, so it looks like we might have another Game 5. We've had a couple so far this week of it going all the way to the last series. And this week we've been doing all best-of-5 series versus just the later series. So very intense matchups here. And FlipSid, not able to... They are! Marky Buda comes in and finishes that. So this game is pretty much decided at this point. Yeah. ELMP putting a great shot on net, and Marky coming in to barely tip that one in. But
that was a very indecisive shot. Like, am I gonna go in? Am I not gonna go in? Am I gonna go in? Am I not gonna go in? I don't know.
Ultimately, it does go into the net and blow up. So
yeah, Marky Duda saying, "You're gonna go in, goddammit." And so it away very nicely.
ELMP almost scoring another one there. So this will be moving on to a Game 5 undoubtedly. So FlipSid and Swarm really giving us a treat here And hopefully the Game 5 will be exciting as this series has been.
Yeah, I'm hoping so.